What's happening, tabletop gamers? My name is LeunameGames and welcome back to LeunameGames Unboxes. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Back to the Future, Back in Time by Prospero Hall and published by Funko Games. Let's have a look at the back here and see what this is about. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? The photo of the McFly family is slowly fading. It's 1955, and you're wrapped up in a time paradox with Biff, Lorraine, George, and Doc Brown. Cooperate to move around Hill Valley to get the DeLorean ready. Avoid Biff and his gang. Help George and Lorraine fall in love. And crank the DeLorean up to 88 miles per hour, all just in time for the lightning to strike the clock, sending you back to the future. So obviously this is a cooperative game based off of the Back to the Future movies, which I admit I have not seen, but I've heard they're really good. So I'm really interested to taking a look at this. So with all that said, let's have a look and see what does Back to the Future, oh boy, what does Back to the Future Back in Time have to offer us? The game comes with, of course, the board itself, representing the town of where the game takes place, as well as where the movies obviously take place. The board is sectioned off, represented by these white lines here, and each section has the name representing what it is on the city, as well as having a few sections here that have some things that you'll need in order to help you win. There are 4 character sheets that come with the game. You got Einstein, Jennifer Parker, Doc Brown, and Marty McFly. Each of these has a special ability listed in this section up here, as well as some symbols down here representing what the various symbols are in the game. And then there are 8 little tile spots here. These are actually meant for the power tiles. There are a whole bunch of various power tiles that come with the game, and these basically allow you to do various things on your turn. For example, you can roll some dice, you can re-roll an action, you can have a symbol be worth 2, and so on and so forth. But these are all powers that you can get later on in the game. Each character has their own set of tiles. They all have a starting set of 5, and they're distinguishable by having the same colors that match their player cards. They're similar to the extra power cards that you can get, except for the starter ones. As you can see, their effects are a lot less powerful. Speaking of characters, the game also comes with a standee for each of the playable characters that are in the game, and you can distinguish them because they have very, very specific character models that match their character itself. And then there are 3 non-player figures, so nobody is allowed to play as them, but you will have some control over where they move, and they will also be moving around the board on their own. This is Biff over here, and then the 2 pink ones over here represent George and Lorraine. The game also comes with an amazing looking DeLorean piece. Almost looks like a Hot Wheels car, to be honest. And it's incredibly detailed. I really like what they did with it. And this is basically going to be used to keep track of your progress as you move the DeLorean closer and closer to the spot where you need to go. There are 8 dice that come with the game, divided into 4 sets of 2, and each of the colors represents different things. The blue ones here represent fighting Biff, the pink ones here represent influencing love, these yellow ones revolve around moving the DeLorean, and the green ones revolve around getting the DeLorean ready. And I must say, on a positive note, the dice are very well done. They are nice and engraved, so they're going to last a lot longer. However, I'm not sure how I feel about the choice of having light colors like the green and the yellow across or covering in the white symbols. So if you are colorblind, there is a possibility you could have trouble seeing the symbols. You have a deck of movement cards, and these basically represent how the non-player characters are going to move. It also identifies which characters are going to be moving for that turn, and how they are going to be moving, as well as these symbols down here representing Biff. I'm assuming that's just going to be representing in that it'll be his turn to move if these cards that show his face end up showing up. There's a deck of opportunity cards, and these are basically representing encounters that you'll have an opportunity to perform throughout the game. I'm assuming these symbols over here represent the dice that you'll have to roll, and if you can succeed in them, you get the reward that is listed on the bottom of these cards. And I must say, the symbols on these are very easy to see. You shouldn't have any issues there unless you're talking about the yellow one like I said before. The green is a little bit easier to see on the cards, thankfully. But other than the yellow, the symbology is easy to see. It shouldn't be too hard to tell which dice you'll need to roll, and the text on the cards is very, very easy to read. There's a small deck of item cards that the players can get throughout the game. These are various items that can help you along your way. They are double-sided, showing the item being available to be used on one side, and the other side basically shows the item exhausted, representing that you've already used it. There are 3 parts of the DeLorean that come with the game, and on the front of these, it shows where you need to go in order to get the part that you need for that particular tile, and once you do that, where you need to place them when you flip the tiles over. On the back of these, it's really nothing. It's just a colorized version, letting you know that you've already gotten the tiles, and it gives you a little information about the individual parts. There is a deck of trouble cards, and these basically represent Biff and his gang getting up to their shenanigans. They actually go up into 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3, and on the backs of each of these is basically a challenge that you're going to have to roll a set of dice for to try to complete it. If you fail the challenge, you have to suffer the effect that is written over here, but if you manage to succeed in the challenge, you actually get a little reward in the bottom left corner. And I must say, just like on the other cards here, the opportunity cards, these are also written very well, very easy to read them. There is a love tracker that is basically meant to represent how close you are to getting George and Lorraine to fall in love with each other, and of course you can't have a tracker without having a token to keep tracking. In the middle of that track, however, is a portrait of the family in the game, and that is where these tiles come in. These are basically sections of the portrait, and what these are used for is basically when you go to set the game up, you'll actually set them all on the board, but you will have them flipped over to basically represent the portrait being empty. And it will be part of your mission to get at least one of these tiles flipped over to hopefully restore the family. There is a turn tracker that comes with the game, and it's double-sided so that it can be used depending on how many players are playing the game, and you basically use this to keep track of how much time you have until the timer reaches the end, where the lightning will strike, sending you back to the future. There's also a series of symbols on the track. Each one that you reach involves a certain thing being done. For example, the starting one here involves a movement card being drawn and a trouble card being drawn, whereas this one here involves a love meter check and drawing a movement card. And then finally, there is a little standee here that represents the clock tower. You'll have this in the game, and you'll place this up here, obviously where the clock tower is, and this is basically to be used as a dice tower where you just take the dice and you roll them in. Now thankfully, this does go together very easily, and once you put it together once, you won't have to take it apart again because it does fit in the box. So that is everything you will get if you obtain Back to the Future, Back in Time. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to learn how to play Back to the Future, Back in Time, or if you want to know my thoughts on it, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more tutorials, reviews, and unboxings. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.